Hello, hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
These headphones. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly clear now.
Okay, how's my background?
Looks good.
Okay, there we go. People seem to give a fuck about backgrounds today.
I mean, does mine look all right?
I like yours a lot. And you got on the Suns hat. Shouts out to Steve Nash.
Thank you.
Oh, Kevin Johnson. Yeah, straight up. Our Nash is one of my favorites ever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. KJ was raw this day. You know.
KJ was raw on his day, and then we found out later that
he's a conservative man.
No. You must have not heard.
No, what happened?
About the young women, the teenage girls.
No, I have not heard of that.
Yeah, that you got to go down a whole rabbit hole. He's been a creep since he was playing in the league.
Shut the fuck up. He did have that creep haircut, though. At the time, he was still wearing the box haircut. It was just like, no one wears a fucking box anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah. Damn. So I could see, I'm not indicting him or anything, but I could see KJ being a little off.
Yeah. I didn't know it. As a kid, he was my hero, and then I grew up and found out about other stuff.
I was more of a Latrell Sprewell guy. Like I like Latrell too, before they moved him over to 3. But Steve Nash was my fucking man all the way through.
Oh yeah, he's a killer, man. He's a killer. That's good to know that you're a hoops fan. I had no idea.
Yeah, I was chubby, so I was never really good at playing. Although I had a chubby friend in elementary school who's Cameron Dollar, who went on to win the NCAA championship with UCLA Bruins, and he now coaches out of Seattle. But I knew that rapping was probably mine. As much as I love basketball and breakdancing, I was never really good at any of them.
Oh, so you breakdance too?
I did a pop, lock, and a wave pretty good, but I couldn't get that backspin down. Had too much belly. Exactly. I could hit you with one of those.
That's funny, man. Well, I have to say, congratulations. I mean, you guys released it a while ago, but congratulations on a great project.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Run the Jewels 4, absolutely on time. It was something that everybody needed in the moment.
Yeah, it feels like still needs too. I mean, people are still discovering it, still doing well. And people are discovering not only this record, but the records before, including but not limited to Run the Jewels 1, 2, and 3, and El Solo Working Mind. So people see it's a protracted struggle of doing dope shit and finally, kind of breaking away. Our journey kind of feels more like a rock band. Even though, we're a rap group, but the journey from 300 to 500 people rooms to 750 to 1,000 people rooms to then 2,000, and now we play like 8,000 to 10,000 people rooms ourselves. We're going out to open for Rage Against the Machine next year. It feels more like the journey of what a band would be. So, but we're forever grateful for the journey.
And that's cool, man. I mean, you just it's funny that you kind of think of yourselves as a rock band in that way.
Well, we don't. We think we're the most badass rap group ever.
You are, but what I'm seeing is, and I think people have been saying this for a while. Somebody brought this up on Twitter. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. But it's like you look at rock fans, right, and they're still going to Rolling Stones concerts, but then a rap artist has like a 10-year living span. When a rapper hits 35, like all of a sudden he's washed. But you guys are kind of like bucking the rap trend. And I mean, because your career's been, you guys are moving and still on the cutting edge.
Yeah. Well, rap's only shit. It's rap's not even, I don't think rap's 50 years old yet, or about to be. So you got to think about it. We're still a very young genre of music, and rock has had, longer. And I do think, though, that some people have done it well. When you look at the poise of Jay-Z, that's the poise of I'm a fucking rock star. I know I'm walking into the Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame. When you look at the career span of LL Cool J, okay, he's as badass as any rock star has ever been. Run DMC could still take a stadium right now and crush that motherfucker. So those things are just coming to fruition because we're just growing into that age. I honestly thought that, or not even thought, I think Outkast is the Rolling Stone of rock. Outkast never has to make another fucking album.
No.
I would just like to see Outkast come out every 2 years, do a world tour, go away for 2 years, kick it, do whatever insanely rich rock people do, and then pop back up. Just give me those. So we do have the foundation now to be a legacy music as we deserve to be. And Elle and I are just happen to be of the golden age in terms of being fans of what we listen to. And in a moment where no one really cares how old you is. They care if you're jamming and if the music is dope. So we're fortunate to have the community of supporters we have, and we appreciate them because it's not just, guys who look like you and me that are at our shows. You go to underground rap shows, it's just guys who look like us. Now it is guys who look like us bringing their kids, bringing their 14 and 15-year-olds. In the same way that my dad let me listen to his Pink Floyd albums and let me listen to his Funkadelic records and, introduced me to Led Zeppelin and shit. Now we're getting the homage, the honor of something that's shared between, nerd-ass music nerds like myself and my 13-year-old daughter and her friends who happen to love Run the Fucking Jewels. You know what I mean? It's a very cool place to be.
It's really cool, and it's a cool sound because it has like the spirit of a lot of the like 80s like hard hitting LL Cool J type beats, right?
Yeah.
But it sounds modern. I mean, the music is for now. And seeing the Ooh La La record with DJ Premier was just cool. Seeing the paying homage with him on the scratch, Greg Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was cool. Did you actually? Because I know how generally how it works with recording artists. So you guys send a beat and somebody does something in another studio. Did you actually get those guys in?
Well, Run the Jewels we always are together. Elle and I are together.
Oh yeah.
Greg, L hunted like fuck to find the acapella version of Dwick.
Mm-hmm.
He found it. He chopped it himself and got Greg on there. It was important for us to say featuring Greg Nice because we wanted to do a sample because that's true to hip hop.
Yeah.
But the featuring Greg Nice is Greg Nice that we're featuring in terms of chopping that sample. That is him in the video, of course. But it's important because much like rock music, me listening to Muddy Waters with my grandparents helped me understand Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones. Because I was like, Rolling Stones is what Muddy Waters said in his shirt. And he's like, yeah, they named themselves out. My grandfather would say stuff. And that's how I got an appreciation for the lineage that brought me the groups I like. So featuring Greg Nice is important because Greg is still as dope as ever, still performs as ill as ever, still has one of the greatest voices in rap. And my thing is the world needs to know who he is. And now my 13-year-old daughter listens to Dwick and loves it as much as her 26-year-old brother. You know what I mean? And with Premier, he did the cuts. We had to call him as we were in LA, but he got the record, did the cuts and sent it right back. And we're looking forward to, whenever TV opens back up and we can do nighttime shows and stuff. And we're looking forward to having both those guys on stage with us so the world can see hip hop do what hip hop's supposed to do, man.
That's so cool. See, I'm hearing clean vocals. I'm thinking like you guys got Greg Nice to come back and recut that, but that's it. That's cool that he found the acapella. I had no idea.
Yeah, I know, some real treasure hunt shit. L found the acapella, and that's the most hip hop thing in the story. I'm just like, man, this guy's he's a beast, man. That and getting Preem to cut and Greg to show up in the video. I mean, if I could go back and talk to like the 14-year-old me, I just tell that chubby little smiling kid, hey man, it's just all gonna work out. Trust me. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. And I want to talk about the latest single you guys put out, Just. And that, for me, when I heard the album, that was the one that had me banging. And let me give you a secret. We didn't even put that out as much as radio was just like, you know what, this is it. And then they just kind of took it and started playing it too. That was the one that I was on repeat. Like we were on a road trip when I first heard the album, and we came across this one, and I'm like, oh, these slave masters posing on your dollar. I was like, whoa! Yeah. Like we had to hit the repeat in the car, me and my wife.
Oh man, that's me and my wife do the same thing, ride around, listening to music together. It's so tell your wife, shouts out. But Justice, I love that record. It's 3 different styles. It's a style that I haven't really brought to Run the Jewels. It's that Southern chop style. God bless the dead. Lord Infamous has used that style. Project Pat is amazing at it. The Migos have perfected their version of that style. I've used the chop style on my very first record, Action. So it's a thing that's in the South that it's just a stagger. Then it's time, I'm on mine, I be minded. And it gives you that little, it's almost festive. And then it's that back, make money. It's a call and response, and it's a chop, and it's one of my favorite flows. It's something that I would play with all day, fucking off in the studio. Would never use it. I just play with it. And I remember I put the flow down, and it was 2 lines now that like I went back and fixed, and it became what I wanted it to become. In terms of having something with the almost you were frivolously popping, but before you know it, you're listening to what I'm saying. Like, can you believe corporations running marijuana and our country being ran by a casino owner? If I just say that sounds like, you know, oh my God, he's about to go on a fucking soapbox speech, but the bop gets you. And then L, you know, he just, the grenade in the dugout line, still, I just walk around my house every day, just like, when you think you got the bass low, they're rolling grenade. I'm just like, God damn, that was amazing. Word to Pete Rose, man. Like, I'm like, he killed it. And of course, Zach, people forget that, you know, Zach, again, although perceived as a rock singer, Zach's a fucking MC.
He got bars.
And bars. He got bars like the Cheers TV show. But Pharrell came in and heard him, was bopping to it when we were at Shangri-La, and he was doing the talk with Rick Rubin. And he was bopping, and he commented on a couple things. And this record, you know, he's liked enough to say, you know, I do something. You know, that record, I do something over it. We sent it to him. Shouts out to the homeboy KP. KP, the great Dungeon family member, and works over there in the Pharrell system. And they made sure it happened down in Miami, man. And when Pharrell sent the hook back, I was like, oh my fucking God. And he was like, Mike, I want you to do this part. I'm gonna do this part. And L chopped it up and added. He kept certain parts that Pharrell wanted to change. He said, I got to keep you on here saying the slave part. It's so dope. And it's turned into some very cool shit. And we got hopefully pandemic doesn't stop us from doing the video, because I've always wanted to wear a bunch of jewelry and shoot a Pharrell video. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward. He was just a pleasure to work with. Pharrell's an amazing guy. Zach is an amazing guy. The fact that you get Pharrell Williams and Zach De La Rocha all on some hardcore grinding hip hop shit on the Run the Jewels record is the beauty of rap music. It is something even beyond sampling at that point. That's when you just take the people who inspire the samples and say, we're going to see what hodgepodge of batchery we can come up with, man.
That's dope. I want to ask you about the Slave Master on the Dollar line.
Yes.
Now that really like opened my eyes, because you don't really pay attention to the cash that you're spending. You're just like, oh, here's some money. You know, now, when you really look at it, George Washington owned slaves. You know, all these people did. And right now we're kind of having like a revolution in the sense of like all of these icon things are going away. You know, they just dropped the name Redskins.
They're not taking those guys off the dollar, guys. Don't.
No,
it's not. Look, no, the minute we say that, they're gonna be hold the fuck up, hold the fuck up. I don't, you know, just as a black guy, to be honest with you, we've always been like, all these motherfuckers on slaves, you know. So it's like, you know, it's the irony has never been lost on us, you know. And even Lincoln, who didn't own slaves, said that if it would have kept the Union together, he would have allowed for it. So it's almost like you're fucked if you do, you're fucked if you don't, you know. So it's I don't, you know, I knew someone was going to ask that question. God bless you for being the guy who answers. But, you know, do I see America ever doing that? We can't even get Harriet Tubman on the goddamn $20 bill fast enough. So, you know, what are you going to do? Canada already beat us to put a black woman on money, you know what I'm saying? So you got to say to yourself, like, you know, what are our chances? I never thought the Redskins would change, though. I never thought I would see Republican statues coming down in the South, so anything is possible. Maybe, you know, maybe they'll just, I don't know, have a symbol. We own you instead of president's faces next on money.
So let me ask you this, as just from your perspective as a black man, and you mentioned seeing the irony of having these people on these dollar bills. How do you view somebody like, say, a Thomas Jefferson who had all these great ideas and help put together this great document or a great document.
Yes,
Like, but then he owned and raped slaves, and he raped his own. Like, it was just terrible in his personal life. But he presented this greatness. How do you reconcile that?
Well, you just said it. You know, the reconciliation is in that's who he was. First, let's tell the truth about who he was. Am I a hypocrite because I know I did plenty of crime? Yes, I is. I get broke too many times. I might slang some down. I say it then. About me. That's my self-analysis. So I'm not going to give him any lighter analysis than I give myself. He was a rapist. He was a slave owner. He participated in a system of evil to enrich himself and his country. And he propped that up on the promise of better later, as long as I do these crimes and are allowed to now. That's quite simply the truth on it. Okay. Now, what you do morally with that truth speaks more to who you are than who he was. He's dead. Nothing we can do at this point except be on the side of reparations for those that were affected by it, be on the side of his family, who he has ignored, because there's a real Thomas Jefferson family that's legitimate through marriage and consensual sex, and there's an illegitimate family that he fathered through raping and unconsensual sex with black women. Those people need to be involved in that legacy just as much as the ones that are legitimate. Reparations should be fought for by both those parties, because one side is reaping the benefits of the other side being raped, beaten, tortured, and used for free. And that needs to be reconciled. To reconcile the fact that he was an evil, duplicitous man is in his actions, we have to accept that with his ideals, and his ideas were much bigger than him. And while we should aspire toward those ideals as a country, and we should aspire to be the country that America promised to be for all, we cannot do that by willful ignorance with the evil that our founding fathers propped those ideals under, including but not limited to, and I would argue first, the one of chattel slavery for West Africans and indigenous people.
Man, you just said it right there. I'm really upset at my education. You know, the textbooks just told you the happy story, and they didn't tell you the fuck. I learned that as an adult.
Absolutely.
You know, so no,
the coolest thing, man. You are maybe the greatest interview of the day. You just said the key. My education. White people have to realize that the only way that the system remains working is by keeping you ignorant.
Yeah.
The only way, because most white people aren't evil. Most white people don't want to see a system crush other people in order for them to be perceived as good or less evil or better than. But they don't know that the system is rigged in their favor, because it ain't easy being anything in America. It ain't easy being poor, it ain't easy being white, it ain't easy being working class, it ain't easy being Irish, it ain't easy being Italian. It's never been easy for anyone. But that's different from understanding that there's a group of people whose labor provided for all of this. And they've only been free 56 years. Slavery was over in 1865. Jim Crowism didn't stop, which is apartheid, to 1965. So we ain't been free for 56, 57 years. And when we start to understand that context, when we start to tell the truth about Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, so that children simply see the truth, that incredible people are also capable of incredible evil and supporting evil systems. Once we start to do that, what you begin to get are human beings with a moral compass to say, this is where I come from, but we're not going to be willing to follow that model again. And when you get a proper education of white people in this country, you'll know, because you'll start to see the 13th Amendment ratified again. Why? Because if you truly disagree with slavery, you have to disagree with it for the prisoner too. Mm-hmm. I go to prison as punishment. I do not go to prison to be punished. I don't go there for Victoria's Secret to get a better price cut so that they can overcharge my wife for gifts that I have to buy 3 times a year. That's not the purpose of prison. It's just to reform the person that has done wrong, or to protect society from the person who's never going to be reformed. That's the one. It's not to simply have slave labor. Our Constitution allows for slave labor in prison, which gives an excuse to create more prisoners, essentially code word for slaves. Once we start to understand that, then we start to understand why the 1994 crime bill was insidious. We understand why the Rockefeller drug laws were insidious. We start to understand why the 1937 marijuana law was insidious, because there's a need to feed the prison system. And that system is the need for more slaves.
Man, I know you. I think I had a certain amount of time with you before you get off. I got to ask you about trigger warning.
Yes.
Are we getting a season 2?
Well, I don't know. That's up to white people who pay me. If they give me, if they don't offer me Negro money, yes. If they offer me white folks money, why? Hell yeah, why not? We'll see. I'll tell you this: the ideas that came out of trigger warning, many of them were thought of by a 12-year-old boy sitting in Miss Pryor's class, and then a 16-year-old boy sitting in Mr. Murray's class. My head is filled with those ideas. So in some form or another, those ideas are going to come out on television. As much as I love singing and dancing, and I'm going to do it to the day I die, I would love to spend 15 to 20 years on television developing a relationship with an audience that helps grow more people like you, that look like you, that are thinkers, that are seeing our founders for what they really are. And the only way you do that is talk to everybody at once, and that's a lot easier to do via TV.
Yeah, 100%. You need to be on TV more than you already are.
Well, we're going to do it.
And I got to know, is New Africa still there?
New Africa is not there. I can't run New Africa on a daily basis, but what I am doing is looking for 150 to 400 acres in West Georgia or Alabama. And when I find them, I'm probably just out of irony, name New Africa. And I want to have a place to hunt, fish, grow food, and be unbothered by government, because at my core, the older I get, I realize I'm just my grandfather. I'm just an angry old man who doesn't want people coming on my land telling me what to do. So New Africa will arise again.
That's good, man. That's good to hear. I was thinking, I mean, I know a lot of things are for TV, but when Corona hit, I was like, man, New Africa, they got to just keep everybody out.
I got a lot of calls about that. I still talk to the man who we would have bought the land from. He's a good man. He's a good guy, and it's still there. It's not far. And they only want to. I don't know. I think they're about 1.2, 1.3. But if the crash happens, they may be able to pick it up for $700,000. We'll see.
All right, hey, Killer Mike, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Man, love and respect, brother.
Much love.